So I would request everybody till the time we start with our panelists, and today evening with the topic and the agenda we have on hand, you have any specific questions, you can think about it and write in the chat box, and we'll gradually take it up. So I'll just begin. I think quite a few are there. Yes. So good evening, everyone, once again. I'm Amandeep Pava, Principal CIIS and moderator for today's live webinar. I welcome you all on behalf of CIIS and Red River College for today's live webinar session about fulfilling your Canadian education dream despite COVID-19. Thank you for registering with us. I hope you will enjoy and learn from our panel of experts about our unique pathway program to Canada for fall 2020, that is September 2020 intake. Continental Institute for International Studies has been imparting a unique pathway program to Canada since 2000. It's been more than 2 decades of student success. CIIS has been offering international education and enables Indian students to join Canadian programs in India, where part of the program is delivered in India and part of the program has to be completed in Canada with a partner institution. It allows students to complete the remaining program in Canada with 100% credit transfer option, with an advanced standing to their program in year 2 in Canada. CIIS prepares its students for a smooth transition to Canada to a new world. We are all following a new normal these days. From face-to-face meetings and in-person meetings, we have shifted to virtual meetings, exactly what we are trying to do right now, right here. Now, I'll quickly introduce our panel of experts who have joined us live from Red River College, which is located in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I am extremely grateful for them that they have joined in today for this live session. They'll talk about this wonderful opportunity to study Business Technology Management Program at CIIS for year 1 and at Red River College for almost 1.5 years. I'll introduce Mr. Ankit Gandhi. He is the International Student Recruitment Officer at Red River College, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and he's from the international side. Then we have Ms. Mani Bule. She is the Acting Chair of Business Technology Management Program at Red River College, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and Ms. Lisa Case. She is the Program Coordinator of Business Technology Management Program at Red River College, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. They both are from the academic side of the program. And of course, Mr. Deepak Kochhar, he is our Vice President, Sales and Marketing, Continental Institute for International Studies, CIIS, based in Punjab, India. Now I would request Mr. Ankit Gandhi to share an insight to this unique pathway program opportunity extended jointly by Red River College and CIIS and touch upon all the significant information for our participants.
Thank you, Aman. Thanks everyone as well for joining in. I hope everyone is doing well, especially during these difficult times. I'll tell a little bit about myself first. My name is Ankit Gandhi, and I'm the International Student Recruitment Officer for Red River College. And under my portfolio, I look after student recruitment from South Asia, Middle East, and Europe, and as well as institutional partnerships such as CIIS. CIIS has been, long time associated with Red River College since 2010. We are happy to announce that, in 2020, we'll be beginning a new program to our portfolio as well, which is Business Technology Management. I'll talk a little bit about Red River College first, and then my colleagues from the academic area can talk about Business Technology Management program side. So Red River College is located in Winnipeg, which is right in the center of Canada. Winnipeg is also the capital city of Manitoba, and every year about 25,000 newcomers are absorbed within the province of Manitoba, and they call Winnipeg and Manitoba their new home. It has 4 distinct seasons, and especially now that we are enjoying the summer season here, Winnipeg has the highest amount of sunshine as well, and it is one of the affordable cities to live in. I know very many of my friends who live in Toronto and have decided to move to Winnipeg. It is because of the cost of living. I mean, it is considerably affordable to live in Winnipeg, especially when you're a student and things are quite expensive. About Red River College, so the college has about 30,000 total students, and out of them, 2,000 students are international. And they are from 60 different countries. So, you really get an international exposure when you are studying with a group of students that are from different countries. India, of course, is one of our top recruitment regions. So you'd see a lot of students coming from India. That may make you feel a little comfortable while you're studying. But we really want students to diversify and learn from each other, from different culture. And that's what internationalization is all about. All the programs are really industry focused. So programs have what's called an advisory committee. And yearly or every 2 or 3 years, it is reviewed by the employer. So the industry partners review the program to see if it is still up to date, because they are the future employers of the students, and they help design the program and sort of maintain it as we go as well. And that is why the college has over 95% employment ratio. So most of the students who graduate, about 95% of them get jobs in their field within 6 months of graduation. Sometimes it does take time because of lack of experience or different challenges there might be. So we never guarantee jobs, but about 95% of them have, historically speaking, received job in their field of education eventually. Another key thing that I enjoy and like about Red River College is that it has a very small class size, and most of the classes are between 16 to 30 students, depending on the program. And all the programs are very much hands-on. So you get a lot of one-on-one time with the instructor, and that's very important when you're an international student or any student at this point, so that you can spend some time with the instructor, get your doubts cleared. I remember studying in university with 150 students, and especially when you have a question, it's really awkward to raise your hand and ask in front of 150 students. So having a small class size is really creating a friendly environment, and it's more like a family as well. I call it an international family where everyone knows everyone. And yeah, I mean, the programs also have co-op and internship options. So about, I would say 60% of the program, including business technology management, has a co-op component. So you are either working for an employer that is, on campus, which are, we have what's called an ACE project space, where we have many startups in Winnipeg who sort of are in-house organizations that hire you. So you work with those startup companies and help them design the software, or you can work for a pre-existing company, like an established company as well, and then do your projects. We really encourage students to work with those startups, because that's where you learn a lot of different things, and you're not just part of the process, you design the whole process. So that is the advantage of working with the startups. And yeah, I mean, 95% of the students are satisfied with the program that they do at Red River College. Also, I want to say that most of the international students that come to Red River College or in Manitoba are also, sort of focused on immigration as well. So Manitoba has a very strong immigration pathway program in Canada. So upon graduation, you get a work permit, and while you're on your work permit, as long as you have what's called an in-field occupation, you'll be able to apply for your immigration right away from day one of getting jobs. So it has an accelerated immigration processing timelines as compared to the regular federal or the Government of Canada's federal immigration program, which is, it requires you to have a certain amount of experience before you are eligible. So Manitoba has an accelerated pathway for international students, which most of our students, about 98 to 99% of our students, would take advantage of and work on their immigration plan that way. I'd like to have the academic side speak a little bit about the business technology management program. I'll be here later on if you have any questions. And I sort of forgot to talk about the admission requirements. So the admission requirement for this program is that you have to graduate grade 12, and you have to have minimum 50% each of the courses, as well as you have to have Ielts 6.0 in each module. I know a lot of times students ask, I do not have math in my grade 12, how do I go about it? So because this is an existing partnership that you'll be enrolled in, the students will be given an opportunity to sort of do an online assessment of Red River College. So we will be hosting a test at CIIS. So you'll be taking your test there. It is a Red River College test, and it will be proctored by CIIS. So if you do not have math in your grade 12, CIIS should be able to coordinate that with you, and we can go from there. Also, too, feel free to ask me any question about settlement as well. I was a former international student in 2011. So I've gone through the whole process myself, and I'm really happy to assist you if I can in any way to answer any of your specific questions meanwhile. And I'll let Marnie and Lisa sort of take over now.
Thank you, Ankit, for such a great information. And I'm sure everybody, every parent, every child has a lot of questions around this international students and their journey in Canada, how to go about with the immigration process and stuff like that. So we will take on those questions at the end of the session once we, take talks from all the experts with us today. So thank you once again. And now I'll move in to Ms. Marnie Boulay. May I request, Marnie, to you to share details about Business Technology Management Program, like why students should go for this program? What is the delivery model that 1+1 we are talking about with CIIS as well as Red River College? Like how we have planned this program to be delivered. And if you can share how the advantages when Red River College instructor will be teaching these programs at CIIS as planned. So if you can talk about these and anything that you feel is more important to be, shared with the students at this point in time. Over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Marnie Boulay. I am currently the acting coordinator or acting chair of the Applied Computer Education Department. In our department, we have 4 programs, and one of them is the Business Technology Management Program. I'm also a graduate of Red River College. I've been working with the college for 12 years, or a little over 12 years, and I've been in the same department for 12 years. So I'm more of an IT type person than I am an academic type person, but I'm a little bit of both right now. So what I wanted to let you know is I have a bunch of pages to kind of go through, and then I'll answer some of the questions that Aman asked me to answer for you. So the Business Technology Management Program is part of the Applied Computer Education Department. Our department's mission is to foster an inclusive, effective, and innovative learning environment for our students. So a little bit about the BTM program. The BTM program is designed to provide graduates with the skills required to analyze, design, and manage projects and businesses in the area of information technology. So you're not going to be an IT person, you're not going to be a business person, you're kind of going to be that middle type person that is able to talk the business talk and talk the IT talk. The BTM program is a 28-month program, so it's just over 2 years. So the first 2 terms of the program you will do in CIIS, so term 1 and term 2. And then you will come to Winnipeg and you will do term 3, which will be an academic term. Term 4, which is your work co-op or work experience term. And then you'll come back and do term 5, which is another academic term. So a little bit about what a BTM person, so once you graduate, kind of what you will be doing. So imagine yourself in a company. You have your business people, so your payroll, HR, purchasing, marketing, the CEO, the president, the vice president, those types of people. So you have your business people, and then you have your IT people. So your computer programmers, your web developers, your database administrators, your security people, your network administrators, those types of people. Usually what happens is it's very hard for a business person to be able to talk to an IT person. And it's very hard for an IT person to sometimes talk to a business person. So imagine the president of your company, imagine you're an IT person, and the president of the company comes to you and says, I want a website. And the IT person's like, okay, I can do that. What do you want it to look like? And he's like, well, I want to be able to sell our product online. And the IT person is like, okay, I can go do that. So they go off and they work on it for a couple of months. They get it all working, and they bring it back to the president and they say, okay, here's your website. And the president goes, that's not what I wanted. I want it to look like this. I want it to be able to do this and this and this. So the IT
I think there is some.
Oh,
yeah.
Have you lost me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's fine.
Am I talking
Into
about- okay.
We are into the virtual world, new normal, so we are fine.
Okay. So what would happen is an IT person would go and figure out how to get all the requirements for the project before the IT people would actually start working on it. So at this point in Winnipeg, it has been identified as a gap in most companies. A person who can go talk to the business people, get all of the requirements, and then be able to explain it to an IT person so they can actually create it. So that's what a BTM person is. You're kind of that middle person that can talk between the two types of people. Okay, so who should enroll in the BTM program? So people who like to solve problems. That is who is best suited for this program. So if you have a friend who is having a problem, you want to be able to fix it, okay? So you want to improve processes. So maybe it takes an hour to clean your room. How would you do that faster next time? And you improve the process of how you do it, so you don't have to do the same thing more than once, okay? So you're the type of person that likes to solve problems. You also want to be able to like working in teams. Teams, you'll always be collaborating with other people. You'll need to be able to communicate with other people. The program will also appeal to you if you're interested in working with IT and with business. Students who take this program will learn a lot of the technical courses. So you'll learn a little bit about programming, you'll learn a little bit about database, a little bit about web development, a little bit about networking. You'll learn all those technical type courses. You will also learn about project management, business analyst, business systems testing and design. So you design what you're going to create, and then you have to be able to test it and make sure it actually works. You have to learn how to project planning and estimation. So being able to figure out how much project's going to cost. So being able to cost everything out. You'll also do some business courses. So financial and managerial accounting, economics, business finance, business law. So you'll learn all about that. The types of jobs that you can get after graduation are project manager jobs, program manager jobs. You could be a business analyst, you could be an IT manager, you could be a consultant, you can be an entrepreneur, run your own company. The limits are endless. You can work in a large company, a small company, a medium-sized company. You can work for a nonprofit. You can work for a consult. You can be a consultant. You can pretty much work wherever. Winnipeg is highly desirable. So one of the things that, and Keith had mentioned this before, is that we have an advisory committee. So our advisory committee came to us about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, longer, 7 years ago, I guess it is now, and said, we have a desire for a program to create this middle type person who can be able to talk IT and talk business. So we created a program around what our advisors have said, so what companies in Winnipeg has said is important to them. And we also are accredited by the Information Technology Association of Canada. So the program is also accredited. And Keith kind of talked about the work experience. So during your work experience, you have the option of taking a 4-month co-op or doing an industry project in our ACE project space. The ACE project space is very, very unique. So you get to be grouped with 3 or 4 other peers and work on a real life project. These aren't just, make work projects. These are real life people who have an idea, who have no idea how to do it. So maybe somebody's starting a new company and they want a website or they want to create a mobile app or something. You will be that person who will help create that software. Some of the other things about So
I think there's another little glitch, technical glitch that we are facing. So I just hope Mani will be back in a second. And she'll continue from what she was saying. Yeah, she's back.
Okay. So you'll can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. A little note came up saying that I had internet connectivity issues. Okay. So we do practical hands-on learning. So you won't just be learning the theory behind IT, you'll actually be doing it. And same with the business cases. So you'll do case studies, practical skills. You'll actually be doing stuff, not just learning about it. We also have student support services. So counseling, tutoring, English as additional language support. And we also have our educational assistants who help with students who are having problems in their courses. Also, of course, the instructor is also there. And some of the, I'm going back to some of Aman's questions she asked me to answer. So the delivery model right now in Winnipeg is online because of COVID-19. So we'll be online for this fall. Not quite sure what January is going to bring. It all kind of depends on COVID-19 and what happens there. But we will be keeping track of it and making sure that students in India are aware of what's happening for next fall when they come to Canada. Is there anything that I missed?
No, I think you've covered quite everything that I wanted to ask you. So thank you so much, Mani. It was indeed quite informative. And with your expertise and knowledge, I think we've got quite an overview about this program that students are planning to pursue in Red River College. Thank you, and we'll get back to you with the questions once we are done with the remaining panel. So now my question is with Ms. Lisa Case. Thank you, ma'am, for joining in today with us. May I request you to please let us know more about the Bachelor of Technology Management program, as it's a hybrid program, and Mani has already mentioned that it's a combination. So you can give us a little more details about that and how it's different from other programs that are being offered. Like why not any other management program? So, and of course, the opportunities for international students, how they perform, is it very tough? Or, because it has IT component of it, if I'm not an IT student, will I be able to succeed in this program if I start? Over to you, Lisa.
Okay, can you hear me? Good? Yeah, okay. You don't have to be technical, really technical, to go through our program. There are a lot of IT components, but we do have a lot of instructors and EAs who can help students get through that. I do have a lot of students who contact me and ask me, do I have to be a computer programmer in order to go through this program? And you do have to have a little bit of logical thinking. And like Marnie said, you have to want to be able to solve problems, but you're not going to be an IT person when you graduate. You're not going to be writing a lot of code or developing a lot of websites. Like Marnie said, you're going to be kind of doing the in-between. So you're going to be helping. And that's why we do have some of the IT components in the program, because students need to understand how code is written. They have to be able to look at it and kind of understand and look at it and say, okay, well, I know what you're trying to do here, and they can communicate that back to the business people. Our international student community is really large. Like our business technology management program, we have 59 students in our intake. 54 of them are international students. So we have been running this program for the past, I think, 6 or 7 years now. So we're really versed in any problems that students have. If there's something that a student has an issue with, we've probably dealt with it before, and we can help them, you know, get over those specific humps or hills. I'm not sure. I think Marnie covered most of what it was. This is for the last minute thing for me, so I'm not really prepared with any real speech.
Yes, yes.
If there's any other questions,
you can always add on. Yeah. So we'll shift to, no, Lisa, I was quite informative. I mean, you touched upon a very important point. So, you know, this is like questions from most of the parents. So I would say your presence makes a difference too. So we are grateful. So now Marnie wants to say something. I'll just switch over to Marnie. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Hi. So one of the questions that Aman had was why RC, like why our Btm program over other Btm programs? So other Btm programs have been developed through their business departments. So a business administration department has created like maybe a Btm stream within their department. Whereas our Btm program is housed and is taught by our IT people. So we have more of the IT side of Btm than other universities. We are also one of the only Btm diploma programs.
Oh. Okay. Thank you so much, Marnie, for clarifying that, and I appreciate that information as well. Now I'll shift to Mr. Deepak Kochhar, who's the Vice President, Sales and Marketing, CIIS. May I request you to give an overview about the advantages and benefits students will derive if they take admission with CIIS and choose this pathway program? Over to you, sir. So I'm
yeah, I think it's done. Thank you. Thank you so much, Aman. Good evening to everybody, and it was a pleasure listening to Ankit, Marnie, and Lisa, our partners from Red River College. And as we've been harping upon and we've been discussing all about the new normal and how COVID-19 has affected all of us, it has majorly affected the education sector, the dreams of those students who were wanting to go and study in Canada. And it's been a major issue which is actually harping upon and is in the discussions, especially in this part of the world, because majority of the students going to Canada were from India. India was giving the major share of the international students. But with this COVID-19 situation, so this has become a major, I would say, a bottleneck for those students to fulfill their Canadian education dreams. But for all this, we have a solution here at CIIS, and we've been discussing this in many of our past sessions as well, through various platforms, through social media, as to how CIIS can help students in fulfilling their Canadian education dreams. With CIIS, student who's enrolling with CIIS, they have an assured seat for the fall semester in 2020, which is not going to be the case in case a student is actually planning to go in for a direct admission. So this is a great advantage because there is a lot of uncertainty in the minds of the students, even if they get the admission, whether they will be able to reach Canada or not. And I was recently going through the latest change, which has been announced yesterday only by the Honorable Immigration Minister for Canada, that they're going to split the visa process into two parts. So there will be an approval in principle and an actual visa being granted to the student. So again, if anybody gets a visa in principle, again, there is an ambiguity or a doubt whether the student would get the visa or not. And at the end of the day, because of COVID situation or because of anything else, if the visa is not granted on time, so he just ends up studying online while being here in India. But at CIIS, this is not going to be the case because they have a short seat which is confirmed to them for the fall semester, which is in September 2020. And they can then move to Canada and join the Red River College in Manitoba in next fall 2021 with full credits. So they don't waste a year. So that's the biggest advantage of studying at CIIS. You don't waste one full year. You are completing your first year in India. And as you rightly said, that you save a lot of money as well while studying at CIIS, because the cost of education here, as compared to what an international student is going to pay in Canada for the first year, the difference would be almost about 60%. So you save about 60% of your tuition fee while you're studying here at CIIS. You're completing the same course, same curriculum in India at CIIS, and then getting a transfer in the next year in fall 2021. By the time we are, as we all hope, that this COVID situation would also be well under control and everything will be good by then. So that's a big relief, not just to the students as well as to the parents as well. So that's one big advantage which you have in this COVID situation, that you have a short seat. You are not wasting your year. Plus, you're getting a financial benefit of saving about 60% of your tuition fee if you're studying here at CIIS. Another big advantage, Aman, or to the students, which I would like to tell them, is that IELTS is a major hurdle at present, because especially here in this part of the country, most of the IELTS coaching institutes, because most of the students are depending upon the IELTS coaching, because it's a different kind of an examination. So children, they need to practice, they need to learn, they need to get geared up for appearing for their IELTS exam. But because of these restrictions, the lockdown restrictions which are going on as stipulated by the government, almost all the IELTS institutes are closed. So the students are not able to prepare well in advance for their IELTS exam. So that's another major factor due to which a lot of students might have to defer their plans by probably 6 months or a year for going to Canada. But at CIIS, we can enroll them for the year one. They can enroll without an IELTS exam in hand. And we have one full year with us to prepare them, groom them, and help them clear the IELTS exam before they actually take a transfer in the year two. That's a big advantage which our students at CIIS would have if they are enrolling with us for their Btm program, to conclude that program with Red River College. Another big advantage with CIIS is the facility or the benefit of going in a group. So which has been our forte or our USP since so many years. We've been into this education domain for last 20 years. And all our students who have gone through us, they are well settled. And whenever we run a cohort, whenever we run a class, it's usually of about 30 to 40 students in each class. So then whenever they're completing their year one with CIIS, all those 30 or 40 students who were studying here at CIIS, they take a complete, it's a complete movement of one classroom to another place in Canada. So the entire group goes together. So it's a strong emotional security or a psychological security which a student has, because his peer group, his or her friends who are studying with him or her here in India, they are going to get transferred to the parent campus in Canada. So he will not feel that homesickness, he would not feel that alienation which usually a student might feel when he's going to a new country. That's a big advantage which we have for the students who are studying at CIIS. The group transfer, which we were just discussing about. Then moving on, another advantage we can talk about for studying at CIIS would be the planning which we have to conduct the face-to-face classes, provided we have the approvals from the MHA or the social distancing guidelines, whichever are announced with time to come. So the students would not have to face that challenge of doing that online education. Having going through a Canadian education, a change from the Indian education pattern to Canadian education pattern itself is quite challenging for a new student. And on top of that, when they are subjected to the online education, a lot of students, they are not able to cope up with that stress. But if they are studying with CIIS, we have the international level faculty, trained faculty who are going to teach them. Most probably, we are hopeful that these would be face-to-face classes with all the social distancing norms, because we are hopeful by September we should have some relaxation in terms of the educational institutes. If that happens, that is going to be the case with CIIS as well. Otherwise, even if we go in for the online classes, it will be much more convenient for the students because they will be studying as per their time bands here in India. Then the communication methodology will be much better for an Indian student to study through CIIS for the first year and then moving to Canada in the year 2. And another thing, as a parent, most of us, we are parents, and we know that during these hard times, during these pandemic times or COVID times, we don't want our kids to go away from us. It's a huge decision. It's a big decision to send your child abroad in these tough times, in these hard times. But here at CIIS, the student is staying close to their parents. They are completing the same Canadian education which they would have completed in Canada. They're getting full credentials, saving on the money. At the end of the day, the student has the option to go back home and be with the parents. So that's a big psychological advantage which a parent or a student would have if they're studying at CIIS. So these are some of the factors. And last but not the least, the visa success rate, because that's a big question which a lot of students from India or Punjab would have. The visa success rate at CIIS is excellent. The reason being because you are already enrolled into a Canadian program. That satisfies the Canadian immigration authorities or the visa officers that yes, the student is a bona fide student with a Canadian institution. The student is actually looking forward to studying in Canada. And we spend about a year's time in grooming that student in terms of the IELTS preparation and all. So at the end of year 1, the students who apply, who go through CIIS, the visa success rate is excellent. We rarely face a refusal. Otherwise, almost all our students get through the visa process. So these are some of the advantages which I think make CIIS the best possible option to any student or a parent looking at sending their child for studying in Canada for this September 2020 session. So a guaranteed seat for year 1 and saving a lot of money and all these factors which we have discussed, it makes CIIS as the best option. That was all from my side. If anybody would have any questions, I'll be happy to answer that. Thank you, Aman.
Thank you very much, sir. I believe this has given a lot of queries their solution firsthand, because I think a lot of children are thinking, because Canada is now waitlisted in most of the programs, and there's a lot of uncertainty regarding visa approvals. So, I mean, this is really a good pathway to choose as of now for all the grade 12 students with us. So thank you very much. And here we go. Thank you, Ankit, Marni, Lisa, and Deepak sir once again for your support for this informative session so far. Now we move on to our next segment, which is our question and answer session. So we have got a lot of questions in the chat box. So I request our participants, even if they have not written any questions, they can still go to the chat box and write their questions right now. And those who have written, I'm going to speak those questions and ask those questions to our panelists from Red River College and CIIS, and we'll try and answer as many questions as we can. Else, if anything remains unanswered, or there's a very specific query, we can take it up later with our counselors, and they'll get back to you. So shall I start with your approval? So I'll go with the first question. So I want to go to Canada in January intake, and I have some queries about it. So this question is by Good Vibes. No, it's by Galaxy J7. So somebody is asking that a child wants to go to Canada in January intake, and they have some queries about it. So I would recommend that you have specific queries about that intake, so you can write it to us in the chat box, and we'll take it up later on. Is this webinar useful for pursuing for January 2021 intake? Yes, we are trying to have January intake as well. So once we open that, we'll get back to you. Otherwise, September is pretty much open, September 2020. Is your university recognized? Ankit, if you could answer this question, is your university recognized? I mean, Red River College you can talk about, and CIIS, I think Mr. Deepak Kochar can talk about.
So Red River College, yes, it is a DLI institution, which is called Designated Learning Institution. Also, Red River College is a publicly funded institution. So it is not like in India where a university or a college has to be recognized by UGC. This is more of a publicly funded government institution. So of course it is a recognized institution. And once you complete the program, you'd also be qualified for a work permit. So to answer the question, yes, it is an accredited institution.
Okay, thank you. And Deepak sir, what about CIIS? If you can answer that question. Yeah.
Well, CIIS, as I said before as well, since we are into this education domain from last 20 years, we've been imparting international education from the year 2000. And to impart, again, as Ankit just said, so to impart Canadian education or international education, you do not require the approval from the UGC, so you don't need those approvals. However, as an institution, we have all the necessary approvals from the local administration, the government of Punjab, and even from AICT, whatever approvals are required to run an educational institution, we have those approvals, and we have the credentials from our partner institutes in Canada. Let's say the Red River College. So we have an articulation with them. So students who are studying with us, so they get the full credits and the full credit transfer to their year 2 as well.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. Now the next question is, hi, is maths compulsory for this course? I precisely want to know about courses for medical stream. So I think Ankit, you can answer this question. Like if somebody is from medical stream, physics, chemistry, and biology, is that student eligible to pursue business technology management, and is it maths compulsory?
No, so math is, of course, for admission CIIS, it is not a requirement. However, to be transferred over to Red River College in the second year, you'd have to clear the math assessment test, which is, I want to say it is comparable to grade 10 in India, because we do not have math in grade 12 with most of the streams. So students should be, like I've not seen a student who has failed the math assessment test we have done, especially from India. So yeah, math is not as such a big barrier, especially if you're joining in at CIIS. Yeah. And yeah, for medical students, they should be fine.
Thank you. And now again, there's a question from Prerna Purva, and she's asking me that if ma'am, I got 66% in grade 12 CBSE, can I go for further studies? And I have 55% plus in each subject. Please tell ma'am. So it's the eligibility that she's asking for, specific.
Sorry, is this question for me?
Yeah.
She should be fine as long as the student has over 50% in the grade 12. they should be okay. And again, the IELTS requirements are 6.0 in each module.
So Prerna, you qualify for this Btm program under this pathway. So you can always get in touch with our people from the office, or they'll get back to you who have spoken to you in the last 3 days. I think I've answered that question. Can we do online study from India also, and we'll go to Canadian University next semester when it will be safe to travel? So Ankit, would you like to answer this question as well? I mean, they're asking that if we can do first semester in India and next semester in Canada if it is safe to travel.
So this partnership is sort of based on our first 2 terms in India, and then term 3, which is a year 2 basically. So September 2021 is when the first group of students will be coming from CIIS. Unfortunately, there is no sort of agreement in place right now if someone wants to transfer in for term 2. So, term 3, of course, everyone can come in. And we would be teaching this program remotely. So a Red River College instructor would be teaching this program or a couple of courses, communication and professional development courses between September and December term. So you'd be able to take advantage of, learning from a Canadian faculty who would be, also teaching you face-to-face when you get here in September. And that will also help you with your IELTS preparation as well. So, sort of learning directly from a Canadian instructor would add value to your, English development as well.
So thank you, Ankit. The next question is for Marnie. There's somebody asking me if business technology management has further credit transfer options. Can I complete a degree as well after BTM?
Hi. So at Red River College, we don't have a degree. We just have the diploma, but we do have an agreement with a university in Alberta, Athabasca University of Athabasca, sorry. And they have agreed to give us a 2-year for their, our 2 years for their first 2 years, and then they would just have to complete the other 2 years once they go there. But there is a pathway for students that want to complete a degree. University of Athabasca is also an online university, so everything is online.
Yes, due to COVID. Yeah. Thank you, Marnie.
To add on to Marnie's point about articulation and transfer, though we have an articulation agreement in place, but in terms of employment prospects, it does not add a lot of value unless you want to move into more of a higher up role. To begin with your employment skills, I mean, it would land you basically at the same level as a bachelor's degree would. So there is not a big difference in terms of your technical knowledge until the diploma is done. I mean, you'd end up at the same position, even though you finish a bachelor's degree.
Right. Thank you so much for adding on that information. Does Red River College helps in job placements? So I would ask this question to Lisa, if you can answer this question for our participants. Once a student is at Red River College and graduates, does Red River College helps in job placements?
Red River College will help for the co-op job placement. So your term 4 students will have your industry project or your co-op job placement. Once the student has finished their co-op, they come back for their final term. Many employers tend to keep the student on. They will say, okay, you know what, you go back for your term 5, we will hold the job position for you when you complete your studies. A lot of students do end up at the same employer where they had their co-op. We do have job boards at the college. We don't actually place students in positions once they've graduated, but because we have such a high employment rate once we're done, I don't think that is something that we really need to do. Our students are well regarded. A Red River diploma is it's almost like a good ticket to have in Winnipeg because they know that the students have all the requirements that they need. They've had the hands-on and they've had the work experience.
Thank you, Lisa. The next question is for Ankit. There's this participant Kumbhabir Singh. He's asking me, ma'am, would we get an offer letter before joining in CIIS this September?
You would get a welcome letter from Red River College once you begin. at CIIS, so which sort of authorizes that, you know, Red River College is welcoming you formally, that you're starting at CIIS. Upon completion of your term 2, and after meeting the Ielts requirements, you will be issued a letter of acceptance, not even an offer letter. So, you know, you will be directly entering the term 3 as a readmission. So with advanced standing, you would be receiving a letter of acceptance in after finishing your term 2.
And I would like to add on here, Kuvar Beeres, that, you know, CIIS is providing you a pathway program. So once you start year 1, you will get a welcome letter from Red River College, and it ensures that, you know, you are a part of Red River College. And once you complete your year 1, that is semester 1 and semester 2, and of course, as you meet Ielts requirements as by the Red River College as well as the Canadian High Commission, you get an offer letter, which is an advanced standing in year 2. So that will be only given once your year 1 is complete, and the 100% credit transfer option is available. So it would be during this period in the next year. Probably you'll get it by March or April. We get a conditional offer letter, and once we work on that, and then you get a confirmed offer letter in May after your final term for semester 2. I hope this answers your question.
Also, they would have access to all of our softwares. So our online portal, students starting at CIIS would be having access to the Learn portal. So the students can, you know, log into an actual hub that a regular Red River College student would. So, I mean, there is no difference in terms of accessing the software and college facilities that way.
The next question is like transportation or accommodation facilities provided for the students when they are at Red River College. So I think Ankit can answer that question.
So the college has a residence as well, which is very close to Exchange District campus, which is where this program is offered. So the campus is, I would say, less than 5 minutes of a walk from the campus residence. And transportation, I mean, as such, the city has a public transportation, but starting this fall, the city of Winnipeg would be giving a student pass to all the students who are at a postgraduate, post-secondary institution. So that's built into your tuition fee, and students will be receiving a U pass as well, which they can access for free.
And is it, I think this question should be answered by Deepak sir, how it is possible to take admission with CIIS without IELTS?
The entry requirement at CIIS does not require IELTS before. So the IELTS is actually required when you have to take the transfer to the parent campus in the year 2. So we have a year's time wherein we will prepare you, because we have our in-house IELTS coaching facility. We have the IELTS trainers. So the English language and communication department who will be teaching you, preparing you for various modules of IELTS. And then within a year's time, once you are confident and you're ready to take on your IELTS exam, you appear for your exam and clear the exam, so that by the time you are applying for your visa for the year 2 transfer, you'll have your IELTS in hand.
Thank you very much. I think this pretty much answered. How will one be able to attend the classes? What will be the total estimated fees of 3 years? It's not a 3 years program, Naham. It's a 2 year, 2.5, 28 months to be precise, 28 months diploma program where you're spending year 1 in India and 1 year, 4 months in Canada to complete this program. So it's not a 3 years program. And estimated fee would be at CIIS, it's 3.80 lakhs. And for the Red River part, I think Ankit can answer that question, the tuition fee part.
It's about $17,000. I would say roughly 9 lakh rupees, if my conversion is right.
Yeah, plus the
about 8 lakh.
Yeah, plus the GIC 10,200 as of now. So,
so that's something that, you know, the government of Canada would be requiring, not Red River College.
yeah.
So you would be giving them $10,000, which they pay you back in a monthly payment plan sort of thing. So you get your living expenses paid by the government that you've prepaid them.
So Nahan, the estimated cost would be 3.80 at CIIS if you get any scholarship on your academics. So, you know, that would be a little advantage to you. And for next part of it in Red River College, 17,000 Canadian dollars approximately as in tuition fee. And then of course the GIC part. That is the total estimated fee as of now. How will one be
I would
able?
like to add one more thing.
Sure.
To study at CIIS in the year one, we have very lucrative scholarships, academic scholarships as well for deserving students. The students who are academically bright, so we have excellent scholarship options as well. Them.
Could you please explain about hotel management course? Nabijit, for this thing, please leave your number in the Dropbox. Our team will get back to you on the hospitality management program. For going Canada, which exam we have to give, TOEFL or IELTS? Naham, it has to be IELTS with overall 6.0 and 6.0 in each module, listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Is it, I'm sorry, I missed on that. Generally, new migrate student, how much money take in a month? I don't know what exactly the student is trying to ask. Generally, new migrate student, how much money make in a month?
Basically, I think they want to know how much they can earn while they're studying.
Yes, yes.
So I think Ankit will be better equipped to answer this.
The minimum wage rate or something you can.
So international students are allowed to work 20 hours per week while they're a full-time student. And I think minimum wage is about $11 right now. And yeah, so students can work 20 hours per week and earn $11 per hour. While there is an official summer break, you can work full-time and get around that. What we recommend is, and especially coming from a former international student, you should not be working at least in your first term to really get acclimatized with the Canadian workplace, Canadian education system. There are so many changes that you're going through that you really put your studies at stake if you sort of focus too much on employment. And you know, whatever you earn, if you unfortunately fail one or two courses, you probably give it back to the college anyways. So it's not a good investment in my limited thinking. So it is not advisable to work in the first term, but you are eligible to work up to 20 hours per week.
Thank you, Ankit, for that. Please tell me about the name, eligibility criteria, and placements of the course in detail, and how the classes will take place. That's by Jasmine. So I think it's been pretty much answered. The name is BTM, Business Technology Management Program. Eligibility criteria has been already mentioned by Ankit. It's grade 12 pass out and the IELTS that we need. And for maths and accounts that probably we need for this program can be taken care of at CIIS, and course details we've already mentioned, which are described by Marnie and Lisa. So Jasmine, if you have any specific questions other than that, if we are not able to answer as of now, you can write your number and we can get back to you. The next question is from how will the visa process for September 2020 work out nowadays? So I think it's been answered by Mr. Deepak Kochar. Would you like to take up this question again, sir?
For the September 2020, the students who are opting for a direct transfer. So the Canadian Immigration Authorities, they have started accepting online applications, only the online applications as of now. And they have divided the immigration process into the visa processing into two parts. So the first preliminary approval will be for an approval in principle, wherein a child's basic credentials in terms of the eligibility and everything would be checked, and the acceptability from the institution where they are going. So based on that, they will just give an approval in principle, based on which a student can start studying online, because these restrictions related to COVID would already be there. And once these restrictions are removed, when the student is able to get the medicals done based on country to country requirements, whatever are there, once the police clearance are issued, biometrics, they get started in their native country. After that, the final approval would come. So there is no exact timeline when this would happen. So let's say the session starts in September, and if all this thing happens in December or November or in January, till that time, the student would be in the native country and studying online. And as I said, due to all this, CIIS becomes the best alternate option, because they would actually be getting the same education through CIIS, but at a much lower cost.
Thank you very much. Now, the next question is it like a distance education student exchange program, or we get a regular degree? So I think, Ankit, you can answer this question. Is it like a distance education student exchange program, or we get a regular degree through this pathway?
So the parchment that the students get upon graduation would be identical to someone who graduates from term 1 at Red River College. So there is no difference in terms of the learning outcomes. I mean, they're basically the same. Just the term 1 and term 2 courses would not have your grades. It would say credit transfer because you've done that at CIIS. Everything else remains the same, and the parchment is the same. Employment prospect remains the same. So there is no difference as such.
All right. Thank you very much. That's a wonderful answer. Now, my next question is, hi, ma'am. Parents usually send their kids for study visa in Canada. A few students have already planned to study medical, commerce, or any other subject for their further studies. Is there any ways to know which stream, like any vocational course or study in business management, are more demanding in Canada for students, so that parents and students can plan their future? I think, just to reframe it, the child wants to know which program is in demand in Canada as of now. If somebody wants to plan ahead and the child wants to take a particular program in India, what should it be as of now, as per you?
Was this for me?
It's for Ankit, because he can tell more about like Canada, the courses that he thinks is deemed more important.
I mean, see, I can speak about Red River College very well in terms of the programs that are offered. And to give you a very recent example, for last year, January, we had to cut down on number of students that we accept for applied accounting program, for example, because the demand from the industry was not there. So the philosophy of Red River College is not to just pump out graduates who sort of are unemployed upon completing their program. The whole goal is to fill in the employment gap that exists in the market. So if the program is offered by the college, the only reason is because there are so many jobs that can be absorbed. And every few years, market survey is done to make sure the students are getting jobs. And if a program is a little bit struggling in terms of employment percentage, that program is carefully reviewed and sometimes canceled as well. We canceled Green Space Horticulture program 2 years ago because there were not enough jobs. So if a program is offered, the only reason is there are a lot of jobs. Some of the trending industries right now in Winnipeg is, of course, pharmaceutical related manufacturing, as well as IT is becoming quite a attraction for many of the students, especially in Winnipeg, because they can find a big talent for employers. Digital media design and 3D computer graphics is something that is also coming up. There's a big company called Tangent Animation that works with Disney and Netflix for the animation. So these are some of the industries that are quite popular in Winnipeg. And of course, there is always these companies that are coming in would require a business person, a marketing person. So a business student would always fit into the whole equation as well.
Okay, thank you. So now the next question is biotechnology available there. I got 91% in PCB. So Lavish, I want to say that CIIS as of now is not offering biotechnology. However, Red River College is offering biotechnology, and for that our sister concern counselors will be able to get back to you, and they'll be in touch with you for answering this question. The next one is, in today's session, isn't there any representative from Conestoga? My course is MET Automotive Manufacturing. No, Harsh, this is primarily and specifically and exclusively for BTM with Red River College. So no representative from Conestoga, but we'll be planning future sessions with them, so you will be able to have your questions answered. Please provide information. We only have to join Red River College. Yes, for this particular program, BTM, you have to join Red River College once you complete your year 1 in India with this program. What is calculation of credits while studying and completed course? Marnie, I think you can answer this question because it's related to academics. What is calculation of credits while studying and completing a course?
Okay, so every term, there's about, okay, so each one of our courses is anywhere between 2 credit hours and up to 5 credit hours. Most of them are 5 or 3 credit hours also. So in total, I'd actually have to do calculation because I can't remember off the top of my head. Lisa might remember. But every term, there's about 22 to 27 credit hours per term times that by 4 terms. So just about 100 credit hours.
And how it's been calculated? I mean, how it's been calculated? There's some formula for that or something that you can explain to the children.
Okay, so every course is either 40 hours or 80 hours in class. And then that's how it gets calculated. So if it's an 80-hour course, it's 5 credit hours. It's a 40-hour course, it's 3 credit hours.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Marni.
Does that answer the question? Sorry.
No, it's been answered.
Okay.
So Deepak sir, this question is probably for you. CIIS hostel has a proper security and safety precautions for girls?
Yes, we have a separate hostel facility for boys as well as for girls. And I would like to highlight that due to the present COVID situation, we have to keep the main social distancing norms in our mind. We have 1 child per room facility which we've created this year, so there will be no room sharing. So 1 child per room would be the principle which we'll follow at CIIS hostels. And it is fully secured campus with round-the-clock security available.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I have one more question. Ma'am, I've already cleared IELTS and it expires in July 2021. So would I need to retake the IELTS exams? It depends. I mean, what time we will file your visa application and how long is the visa processing time? If it is before that, beforehand, then you'll be able to get your visa based on the current IELTS, which is valid till July 2021. I'm already a 2nd-year diploma student in computing science. I have to join BTech. So we'll get back to you, Naham, on this question and how we have to proceed further. And I have a couple of questions. Can I still take admission if I have an academic gap of 1 year after grade 12? Ankit, would you answer that question, please?
So this is a misconception that a lot of students in India have, and it's unfortunately due to some of the practices going on. So a gap is never a concern to a college, first of all, because a college is an education institution that provides education no matter what age, size, or shape. In terms of your immigration as well, as long as you satisfy your intent to study, you should be in a position to convince the visa officer for your visa. 1 year gap, at least for this partnership, should not be a concern. So you are in a good position to apply, actually.
Thank you very much. Does BTM offers co-op option? Lisa, would you like to answer this question? The co-op option for BTM, does it offer?
Yes, yeah, term 4 is the co-op option. So the students will have an option for co-op work experience or participate in industry project. Both of them will give them the same credits for that particular term. And we do have a co-op coordinator in our department who assists students in finding jobs that are related to what they've been studying. However, if a student finds their own job, they can do that as long as it's approved by our coordinator.
All right, thank you very much. How can I save my fee if I take admission at CIIS? This has been already answered because year 1 we are charging in Indian rupees, so it is pretty much 3.80 as compared to your year 1 cost at Canadian institution. Am I eligible if I'm an arts student without maths? Can I still take admission with CIIS? Ankit, would you like to answer this question?
Yes, again, so as I was mentioning before, math is a requirement for students to start in year 2 at Red River College. So if you are at CIIS, you would be beginning the course without math. However, during your education period between term 1 and term 2, we will be scheduling a math test. Again, this is comparable to the Indian education in high school. This would be equivalent to grade 10 math. So, we do provide all the teaching and learning materials for the students. It's called CAT-D type of exam, and the students should be able to clear this test. It's a multiple choice question and answer as well.
All right, thank you very much. And then I have a question here where it says, ma'am, if I take 2 years diploma, how many years of work permit I will get after finishing my studies. So Ankit, would you like to answer this question? 2 years diploma, and how much is the work permit?
So if a student graduates from a 2-year program, they would get a 3-year long work permit, up to 3 years long in work permit. But the design of this partnership is 1 year in India and 1.5 years in Canada. You would be eligible for the period of education you've done in Winnipeg. So if it is, depending on the time frame, the term starts here, you'd be eligible for up to 18 months at the minimum for a work permit.
Thank you. So I think we're taking a lot of time. So I'll just take up last 2 questions and we'll wind up because it's like getting pretty late for here in India people. So the next question is, are the programs provided by college and university recognized in the world? So would you like to answer this question, Ankit?
It's a very interesting question and a very good question too. I remember last year in I think July, same time last year, I was traveling to Turkey. I was on a recruitment fair and I met a student who was working there in the hotel. He was a hospitality graduate of Red River College, working in Hilton in Istanbul. So this program is acceptable worldwide. As long as you have the core technical skills and good people skills, you should be able to qualify to work anywhere in the world. Another example is when I was in Vancouver Airport, I met a student from culinary arts who was going to do his co-op in China. So we have students who travel across the world because we have 30,000 students, active enrollments. The likelihood of you being served by a Red River College student at some point in your life is quite likely. And this program, especially business technology management, does not have as such an accreditation requirement in India, for example. So if you were to come back to India, you could work based on your core programming and web development skills, as well as the management skills, and you should be able to gain a decent employment.
Thank you. That's a pretty good one. So I'm glad you answered that question. So my another question is with Lisa. This is a very specific question, Lisa. It's saying that, will a non-medical student weak in maths be able to cope up with the syllabus of BTM? So I'll just reframe the question for you. The child wants to know, if I am weak in maths in grade 12, I'm not the topper, or above an average student, will I be able to cope up with the curriculum of BTM at Red River College?
The first term in BTM, there is a statistics for BTM class, which is a math course.
Okay.
Some students find it a little difficult, but we have tutors, we have EAs, and we do have, you lost me? Are you still there? Okay. We have tutors, EAs, and a lot of supports to help students. IT isn't heavy on the math side, and we have had students who are a little bit weak in math still be successful in our program.
Thank you very much. I think it's pretty much answered. And one last question, though I said I'll be taking 2, but this one is pretty interesting. The child says that the weather is very harsh in Winnipeg, Canada. It's quite cold. It's -50s or -52. So a lot of parents and children are worried that, if they are able to cope up with the weather conditions in Winnipeg initially. So what should be the measures taken and precautions taken?
I was surprised this question didn't come up earlier. Usually this is the first question I get. Is it cold in Winnipeg? It is cold, yes, but the core advantage is the infrastructure is well built around the winter itself. So anywhere you go, there is a proper heating system. The only time as a student you would feel cold is if you wish to walk around outside, not take a bus. Or while you're waiting for a bus stop is heated as well. The malls are heated, public space, any indoor space is heated. So you wouldn't feel the cold weather as such while you're out and about. But yes, I mean, the weather is from -40 to +40, so there's a big range that you can enjoy. But we don't get scared of winter. There are a lot of winter activities that takes place. There's a place called Forks, where winter skating takes place on the river, which gets frozen in the winter time. So there are a lot of activities that keeps you, busy during the winter time. I remember us saying a few years ago, Winnipeg is cold, but people have warm hearts. So, it's a very friendly place with warm and friendly and kind people. So, you would enjoy and you would not feel like an outsider when you come in. It's a very welcoming place and people are really kind and, friendly with each other.
I absolutely agree. When I visited Red River College and Winnipeg in specific, I was looked after pretty well. I mean, I was at home, away from home. So I take up that thing very well. So I think a lot of questions I've been reviewing and quite a few specific things have been answered. And if there's something which is left, we have a lot of numbers coming up in the chat box. So our team of experts will get back to you on those questions individually. And now we have a special announcement. If any of the student or participant who's attending this webinar gets registered with CIIS in next 48 hours, will get a chance to avail some tuition fee waiver. So please get in touch with our staff who contacted you over the last few days, Kedar, Ishu, or Sharanjeet, and they'll be able to help you out with that waiver thing, apart from the scholarships that we are offering on your education. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, our panel of experts and all the participants for joining in this live webinar session. I'm extremely grateful for your time and support. I hope all of your questions are being answered. In case something is left, as I said earlier, it will be taken care of by our team of experts at a later stage. This is indeed a very, very difficult time for all of us, a lot of time of uncertainty. But I can assure you one thing, the one thing which is quite certain at this point in time is that your admission at CIIS for fall 2020, that is September 2020. So we look forward to have you with us to join this program. And of course, we have to look into what the governments have to say on COVID-19, the government of India and the government of Canada, for the new information and announcements on this. So we look forward to have you all here to commence Btm program at CIIS in September 2020. Until then, stay safe. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. And to my friends in Canada, have a good day ahead. Stay safe. Bye-bye. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.